You enter the heart of Rome, where marble glows in the early spring sun, and the air is thick with the roar of a city obsessed with spectacle. There he stands, Gaius Caligula, the emperor, his slender form draped in imperial purple, a gold laurel resting lightly on his pale brow. The crowds adore him. Women throw petals, men raise their fists in reverence, children chant his name as if it were a prayer. On this morning in AD 37, it seems the world itself has crowned a golden sun. But glory is only a veil, thin, trembling, ready to slip. Inside the Palatine Palace, behind guarded doors, the corridors darken. The echo of praise grows faint, replaced by softer sounds. A woman's sigh, the whisper of silk against stone, footsteps that falter at the threshold. You walk these halls now, the chill of marble beneath your feet, and the air is heavy with secrets. There, in a private chamber, sits Julia Drusilla, Caligula's elder sister, regal, her black hair coiled like a crown, eyes wary. Her silk stola gleams in the filtered light. She listens for his approach, fingers clenching a silver hairpin, her mind alive with memories no one dares to name. Beside her, Julia Livilla waits. She's smaller, softer, the youngest of the siblings, her chestnut hair hidden beneath a veil so fine it's nearly invisible. Livilla glances toward the curtained door, lips pressed in silent dread. She knows how quickly love in this palace curdles into something sharp, how the emperor's gaze can linger, too long, too hungry. And in the shadow stands Cornelia Magna, the royal handmaid. She's older, taller, her dress plain, her gaze protective as she watches the sisters. Cornelia has witnessed generations of pain behind these marble walls. She knows that when Rome's crowds shout for joy, inside, someone is always learning to whisper. The palace smells of roses and fear. Every tapestry, every polished stone seems to watch. You sense the boundaries of power and blood, the fine line where devotion becomes danger, where a brother's hand lingers on a sister's cheek, and every gesture must be hidden behind a veil. No one speaks of what happens in the blue hours before dawn. No one asks why Drusilla's rooms are so often visited after the feast, or why Livilla avoids her brother's gaze. Outside, the city celebrates. Inside, silence settles like dust. A tray of wine sits untouched. Gold goblets gleam in the dimness. Caligula enters, his face bright, his smile dazzling, his voice gentle as he greets Drusilla and Livilla by name. But there is something in his eyes that never matches his words. You're close enough to hear his breath, to see the tension ripple beneath his calm. As you stand in this chamber, caught between public joy and private terror, you wonder, where does the veil end and the wound begin? If even Rome's beloved sun could be devoured by darkness, what hope remains for those outside the palace walls? If a golden crown can hide so much, what fate awaits those beneath it? Cornelia draws the curtains, the world outside fading into dusk. The sisters hold their silence, each clutching her own secret. Caligula's footsteps echo down the corridor, the rhythm too steady, too soft. Another day begins in the empire of masks. You feel it, the weight of the veil covering every wound, binding every secret. Here, in the heart of ancient Rome, in a D37, the dawn of Caligula's reign, you witness the moment where love dissolves and the darkness stirs behind the golden sun. Tomorrow the city will cheer again, but tonight, inside the Palatine Palace, nothing is ever as it seems. In the hush of Rome's imperial palace, a new kind of rumour threads its way through velvet curtains and marble halls. The spring that crowned Caligula emperor has faded. Now, in the dusk-lit corridors of AD 37, you sense the change. a chill settling beneath the gold. Caligula, the emperor, his face is known across the city. But here, alone with Julia Drusilla, his sister, the mask slips. In the private dining hall, under the watch of a single flickering lamp, he pours wine for her. One hand steady, one smile too soft. Drusilla sits straight, regal in her silk stola, a brooch of twisted gold at her shoulder, but her fingers tremble as she lifts the goblet. The wine is sweet, but the moment tastes of danger. Tonight, the meal is simple: figs, cheese, bread. But each bite is a test. Caligula's words, questions about the stars, about loyalty, about love, hang in the air, daring an answer that will not come. The servants, led by Cornelia Magna, move soundlessly. They set down plates, refill cups, and, eyes lowered, vanish before secrets can catch their gaze. Drusilla laughs at something he says, the sound sharp, too quick. Her gaze lingers on the table, never on his hands. She knows, as every woman in this palace knows, that love, here, is always tangled with fear. Cornelia stands at her post, tall and silent, her headscarf wrapped tight, watching as the game unfolds. She has watched many dinners, many rulers, but never a bond so fraught, so quiet, so dangerous. Word travels, soft, urgent, irresistible. By dawn, the court whispers, the emperor and his sister, too close. Private dinners, secret gifts, bracelets engraved with names, silks dyed the same forbidden shade of purple. Marcus Lepidus, Drusilla's husband, listens in silence, jaw set, eyes burning behind the mask of a Roman soldier. He knows he cannot speak, cannot intervene. Even the strongest men in Rome bow to the bloodline. The motif returns, bloodline, twisted now. What was once a mark of glory is whispered as a curse. You feel the pulse of it, the way Drusilla's beauty, her very existence, binds her to Caligula, not just as kin, but as fate's chosen. In her bedchamber, Drusilla sits beneath a painted ceiling, clutching a letter from her brother. It is a poem, words of devotion, words no sister should ever hear. She reads it, tears it, then buries it deep beneath her pillow. Caligula visits late. The palace is silent. He brings her a new bracelet, heavy gold shaped like a serpent, its head biting its own tail. Drusilla's hands shake as he clasps it to her wrist. Cornelia waits outside the door, listening, hoping not to hear the sounds that mean the boundary is broken. No one dares challenge the emperor. Lepidus drifts through the halls, his armour gleaming, his heart breaking. He catches Drusilla's eye at dawn, and in that glance, a plea. Save me, if you can. But he cannot. He is bound, as she is, by the blood that runs too thick, too royal, too cursed. The palace feasts, bread and wine, laughter and song, but beneath every celebration you taste betrayal. You sense the slow poisoning, luxury concealing horror, silence hiding screams. Rome's greatest dynasty is now a house of secrets, its legacy stained. Night falls. In the darkness, Drusilla's bracelet gleams, a serpent of gold, a bloodline forever circling itself. The city outside sleeps, blind to what festers in the heart of power. Tomorrow, the whispers will grow louder, and inside these walls the bloodline will tighten its hold. You stand at the threshold of Rome's imperial palace, where the walls themselves seem to hold their breath. The marble is cold beneath your feet. By AD 38, everything has changed. Caligula, once the golden sun, now rules with a hunger that devours shame. His palace, a sanctuary of the old, is remade into a theatre where pleasure is performance and humiliation the price of entry. Mirrors line the walls, every surface a reflection, every movement multiplied. They are not just glass, but witnesses, broken, blurred, unforgiving. You see yourself in 1,000 shards as you enter the grand chamber, light fracturing into ghosts. Julia Livilla, the Emperor's younger sister, stands beneath a mirrored arch, her veil slipping, eyes wide with dread. Her tunic is too fine, her cheeks too pale, her breath shallow as she waits for Caligula's summons. Marcus Lepidus, husband to Drusilla, soldier, senator, walks stiffly across the inlaid floor, his crimson cloak trailing, fists clenched. He knows refusal is not allowed. To say no is to vanish, to become a story whispered behind a locked door. Caligula's laughter echoes from the centre of the room, shrill, sharp, slicing the air like a dagger. Gaius Caligula, crowned and resplendent, beckons nobles, senators, and family members alike to gather. He commands them, each by name, each with a gesture that cannot be ignored. Lucius Cassius Longinus, the Stoic senator, keeps his eyes low, but the mirrors betray him. His fear reflected over and over. The spectacle begins. Drusilla is summoned, her silk gown heavy, her beauty now a burden. She stands at the heart of the hall, surrounded by mirrors, her image split and scattered. Livilla is forced to dance, her every step watched and repeated. Lepidus is called to kneel, stripped of rank by Caligula's whim, his humiliation writ large in every pain. The emperor watches, lips curled, gaze moving from reflection to reflection. The room spins with motion, laughter, forced applause, tears hidden behind trembling hands. Caligula raises a goblet and offers it to Incitatus, his prized white horse, standing adorned in purple and gold. The absurdity is total, human dignity shattered, the boundaries between master and animal dissolved. Every secret is seen. The mirrors show all, the defiance in Livilla's eyes, the pleading in Drusilla's posture, the resignation in Lepidus's shoulders. What was once private is now public. No one can turn away, no one can refuse. The broken mirrors become the soul of the palace, reflecting not only bodies, but betrayals, terrors, the unravelling of every noble heart. You feel it, helplessness thick as honey, a shame that stains deeper than blood. The cruelty is spectacle, the pain a ritual. Even the senators, mighty in public, shrink in the glow of 1,000 reflections. No mask can hide what is exposed by this merciless glass. By the night's end, Drusilla, forever the centre, sinks beneath the weight of eyes and memory. Livilla flees into the mirrored hallways, her identity fractured, her voice lost in the chaos. Lepidus remains kneeling, his shadow split across the floor, dignity in ruins. As dawn rises, the palace is silent, but for Caligula's footsteps, mirrored endlessly, never meeting, never whole. The empire's secrets now lie shattered in the glass, a palace of broken mirrors where every wound, every horror can never be unseen. Tomorrow, another gathering, another round of humiliation. In the palace of broken mirrors, nothing is ever truly hidden, and nothing will ever heal. Silk drapes from the ceiling, puddling on the polished stone floor, catching the morning light as if nothing in this palace could ever be touched by darkness. But even silk, spun to shimmer and seduce, hides its stains well. You move through Caligula's chamber, where luxury clings to every surface, where suffering is masked by softness. Gaius Caligula, the emperor, sits on the edge of a massive bed, his purple toga traded for robes of ivory silk. He smiles, watching his reflection in a bronze mirror, and gestures for Julia Drusilla, his sister, his captive star, to stand beside him. Her gown is delicate, embroidered with tiny golden serpents, the silk so sheer it offers no shield. Her face, composed and regal, betrays nothing of the tremor in her hands. Senators gather in the private theatre, summoned by name. Some enter proud in white togas and jewelled rings. Others, already broken, shuffle in silence. Lucius Cassius Longinus keeps his gaze fixed on the mosaic floor, refusing to meet the Emperor's eye, his signet ring twisting on his finger. They are here for Caligula's amusement, and everyone knows resistance only deepens the cruelty. Tonight, the performance is a wedding. The Emperor himself dons a bridal veil, his laughter high and chilling, silk flowing in impossible cascades from his shoulders. The court is forced to applaud. Caligula drags Drusilla to his side, her face pale, lips pressed thin. Cornelia Magna, ever loyal, stands just outside the curtain, her rough homespun dress a stark contrast to the lavish silks within. She listens for Drusilla's cry, but silence is the rule here. Even pain must be clothed in beauty. The game escalates. Senators are paired with handmaids, roles reversed, pride dissolved. Silk ribbons are tied around wrists, ankles, throats. The fabric is soft, but the bindings bite, leaving marks that linger long after the spectacle ends. Those who falter are mocked, their dignity shredded thread by thread. Drusilla stands on the pedestal, a vision of Roman virtue, her beauty on display for all. But every compliment is a chain, every gaze a new wound. She cannot escape Caligula's grasp. His hand rests at the small of her back, too familiar, too possessive. The room spins with forced laughter, the sickly perfume of roses mixing with the iron tang of fear. Caligula's voice fills the chamber, coaxing the senators to praise his bride. They comply, each word a betrayal, each glance another lash. Silk, meant to caress, becomes a weapon. Long after the guests are dismissed, the Emperor will parade through the corridors, silk trailing behind him like a royal wound. Cornelia waits for Drusilla outside, her hands clenched in her apron. She will tend to bruises unseen, offer balm for wounds that will never truly heal. In her dreams, she sees the silk, red and twisted, binding the powerless, covering what the world must not see. As dawn returns, Caligula collapses into bed, silk veils drifting to the floor. The palace is quiet, but the game is never over. Drusilla slips away to her chamber, every step marked by the weight of invisible chains. The Emperor's pleasure has left new scars, hidden under silk, etched deep into the soul. Tomorrow, the palace will wake to a new order, another performance, more games played on the edge of agony and delight. Here in Rome, in AD 39, silk is not comfort, it is a cage, and every thread leads back to the Emperor, who rules by turning beauty into suffering. Gold crowns glitter in the torchlight, and Rome holds its breath. You stand in the temple of Jupiter, where gods are named, and mortals bow. But today, the rules are broken. Gaius Caligula, the Emperor, rises in a blaze of opulent silk, his head crowned with a laurel dipped in red. His gaze sweeps over marble columns and trembling priests. His words are clear. He is not merely a man, he is divine. Rome will kneel. Julia Drusilla, pale from illness, stands at his side. Her hair is bound with gold threads, a thin circlet pressed into her brow. Her gown, pure white, trails behind her like a shroud. The incense burns thick in the air, almost hiding the scent of fear. Senators and handmaids crowd the altar steps, their eyes lowered, lips moving in prayers for mercy. Prayers they know will go unanswered. Julia Livilla, the youngest sister, is dragged forward to bless the union. Her hands shake as she lifts the embroidered veil, the crown glinting in her hands, a symbol twisted from honour to blasphemy. She places it on Drusilla's head, whispering words that mean nothing now. Drusilla's face is unreadable, but her eyes search the shadows for an exit. for hope. Marcus Lepidus, husband in name only, watches from the rear, his jaw set, his body tense. Beneath his cloak a message hidden, an escape planned, a dream of rescue. But Caligula's guards are everywhere. Every movement is noticed, every hesitation a threat. Caligula proclaims himself a god. He raises Drusilla's hand, fingers interlaced, and commands the crowd to worship. They obey, some in awe, most in terror. The emperor's horse, Incitatus, adorned in purple and gold, is led to the altar, a mockery of Rome's most sacred rites. Even the beast is crowned, a symbol that power now belongs to madness. Candles flicker. The golden crown, meant for gods and heroes, sits heavy on Drusilla's brow. She endures the touch, the words, the gaze of 1,000 witnesses. Every vow echoes through the temple, twisting devotion into dread. Behind the spectacle, terror seeps through, a sacred space, now stained by a marriage that no god could bless. Handmaids scatter rose petals at their feet, but nothing can cover the sound of Livilla's weeping or the tremor in Lepidus's breath. You see it all, the fear on every face, the forced complicity. No one is untouched. The priests bow, the senators kneel, the horse snorts and paws at the altar, gold harness gleaming. Rome submits. When the vows are done, Caligula crowns himself with laurel and gold. He drags Drusilla behind him, her crown slipping, her steps uncertain. Livilla flees the altar veiled in shame. Lepidus, his hope crushed, slips back into the crowd, eyes searching for escape. The gods, silent and invisible, do not intervene. Night falls on the temple, the incense fades, but the stench of sacrilege lingers. Drusilla's crown, heavy, cold, presses down like a curse. The city outside stirs with rumours, but inside the marble halls, power is now measured by blasphemy. Tomorrow Rome will wake to a new law: worship the emperor, bless the union, or vanish. The crown passes from god to monster, and all who witness are marked by its weight. In the flicker of torchlight, nothing remains sacred, only the memory of terror, pressed deep by the crown that no one dares remove. Iron doors slam shut, echoing through the stone corridors of Rome's imperial palace. You hear them, locked, bolted, final. The labyrinth is no myth. It is here, winding beneath the feet of senators and servants, tightening with every turn. A D39 gives way to another cruel winter. In the darkness, hope thins, then vanishes. Gaius Caligula, emperor now in the full bloom of madness, stalks the halls with paranoia burning in his eyes. His golden laurel slips, his words cut sharper than any blade. He suspects betrayal everywhere. In the Senate chamber, he laughs as his horse, Incitatus, is led to a place of honour, mocking the order, the history, the very fabric of Rome. The senators bow their heads, shame biting into their skin. Lucius Cassius Longinus, senator and silent chronicler, watches from the shadows, ink-stained hands trembling as he records the descent. Marcus Lepidus, once proud and calculating, makes his move. He slips a message to Drusilla, a promise of escape, a dream to break the locks. But the palace breathes betrayal. Guards descend. Lepidus is dragged to the dungeons, stripped of his cloak, thrown into darkness. His last words echo up the stone. Remember me. By morning his cell is empty. The door remains, but behind it, only silence. Julia Livilla, the youngest, tries to vanish. She knows every hidden stair, every passage behind the tapestries, but Caligula's spies are everywhere. One night, she disappears. A veil left behind on the floor, the softest of farewells. No one speaks her name again. The labyrinth has claimed her, as it will claim so many others. Julia Drusilla, pale and diminished, grows weaker by the day. Her hair once gleamed in gold and candlelight. Now she lies in her chamber, feverish, her crown forgotten in the dust. Cornelia Magna, loyal handmaid, tends to her, wiping her brow, humming lullabies from a childhood long lost. Cornelia's hands are gentle, but her eyes are wide with fear. She knows what happens to those who witness too much. She knows there is no escape from this maze. Caligula's world grows smaller, his cruelty greater. He parades into Tertus before the Senate, draping the horse in purple silk, crowning him as if mocking the very gods. Senators force laughter through gritted teeth, their dignity locked away. Longinus writes, page after page, never looking up. Survival now is measured in silence. Cornelia moves through the palace with careful steps, avoiding the locked doors, carrying food and water to the rooms where no one returns her greeting. She dreams of escape but knows the truth. The labyrinth never ends. Every corridor leads to another locked door, another vanished face. Night falls. The palace breathes with secrets, some too heavy to be spoken. In the stables, Incitatus stamps, his gold halter gleaming in the moonlight. In the dungeons, memories of Lepidus linger. In her bed, Drusilla drifts between waking and fevered dreams, her name dissolving into shadow, Cassius. Longinus dips his pen, the only witness left, and writes what he dares not say aloud. In the reign of Caligula, doors are locked from within, and no one leaves unchanged. Tomorrow, the emperor will demand more silence, more obedience, more proof of loyalty. The labyrinth holds its prisoners tight. The keys are lost, and the doors, heavy, iron, unyielding, will never open again. The palace stands empty now. Marble halls echo with footsteps that are not there, shadows moving where once there was laughter, or terror, or desperate prayer. It is a D41. Caligula is gone, his body torn, his reign ended in a spasm of violence that leaves Rome stunned, silent, and forever changed. But blood never truly washes clean. The laurel that crowned the emperor, once gleaming with gold, is now stained deep red. It sits abandoned atop a broken column, a relic no one dares to touch. Cornelia Magna, who survived by keeping secrets and binding wounds, walks through these ruined chambers, her hands trembling as she collects remnants of a vanished world. She finds Drusilla's bracelet beneath a fallen curtain, its gold twisted, its story erased. Outside, city streets fill with rumour and relief. The Senate restores order. Senators stride in new robes, their voices loud, faces stern. But behind every proclamation is fear, a knowledge that power can rot so quickly and that cruelty always leaves a scar. Lucius Cassius Longinus, chronicler and survivor, buries his account deep within the palace archives. He writes names no one will read. He seals stories no one will speak. Of Julia Drusilla, nothing remains but whispers. Her name struck from stone, her image scraped from the walls, her body a memory locked away. Julia Livilla too has vanished, her veil lost, her laughter forgotten, her fate sealed behind the maze of Rome's forgetting. The palace becomes a mausoleum for secrets, its beauty concealing wounds that will never heal. Cornelia pauses in the women's quarters, where the scent of roses has faded, replaced by dust. She sees the faces of handmaids, young, old, all changed, each marked by a silence that cannot be undone. Some weep quietly, others do not speak at all. Cornelia remembers Drusilla's fever, Livilla's fear, Lepidus's last desperate look. She wonders how a city could ever recover from so much unseen harm. In the markets, mothers caution their daughters in hushed voices. Remember, they say, even gold can cut. Even love can turn. Rome's women carry the empire's scars beneath fine robes, beneath calm expressions, generations marked not just by what was done, but by what must never be told. At night, Cornelia stands beneath the ruined archway, the blood-stained laurel at her feet. She looks at the city that cheered for Caligula, then turned away, then forgot. The palace behind her is silent, but its ghosts remain. In the flicker of torchlight, she wonders what will become of the next girl who enters these halls, the next handmaid asked to smile and serve and keep her secrets close. Lucius Cassius Longinus leaves the archives at last. He does not look back. In his heart, a quiet grief, a knowledge that his words cannot unwrite what was done, cannot heal what has been broken. History will remember the spectacles, the madness, the crimson laurel, but the real empire, an empire of scars, lives on in those who suffered quietly, those who endured, those who learned that love, when wielded as cruelty, can wound deeper than any sword. As dawn breaks, the palace glows gold once more, yet beneath the surface, pain remains, hidden but never gone. And so the story closes, not with triumph or justice, but with a question that lingers in every empty hall. What remains when cruelty is cloaked as love,